Hello and welcome to Just a Moment. My name is Kristen Harding with my special guest, Kristy Mae Wixon, also known as Asha. Welcome, Kristy.
Thank you, Kristen. It's great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Lyran starseed from a planet called Malaqua. This is in the Lyra Vega Prime Stargate system, so a Vega Prime. I'll tell you a little bit about the Katai. So the Katai are an anthrofeline race that originated on a planet called Casta in the Ashkira system. And we were a hybrid race created from the Ta'al and the La'ani. So they were feline races as well.
hmm
What would you
When
like to
was
know?
this? No, thank you. When was
Yeah.
this originally? When I love ancient history.
Okay, we're going back into galactic history. So I'm going to say about, we'll see here, about 600 million years ago.
Wow.
At least.
How many resets has Earth had?
Well, three. We've had at least three. So two and then a third. Yeah.
Does humanity get to a certain point and then it needs to be reset? Is that what happens, or?
Yeah, this is a beta universe that we live in, and which means that there are 22 seed creators that govern this part of the multiverse and universe here.
hmm
So it's a genetic experiment. It has been a genetic experiment for a long time. The original human and what we call human angelic DNA started with the Lyran DNA. So everybody here has Lyran DNA. As time went on, it was mutated
hmm
by other species. A lot of draconian influences, a lot of avian influences, which we call the Chakzuri, and a lot of Anunnaki influences later on in the Egypt times.
Right.
So there's been a lot, going on throughout the years.
What is the How would you define a starseed?
A starseed is a soul that comes from another world, another dimension, another place, but has incarnated throughout the lower dimensional fields
hmm
and now resides here in this third dimensional reality here on Earth.
Are you a starseed?
I am a starseed. I have a Lyran soul that has
Right.
traveled throughout time, but because I carry a Lyran human avatar body and my soul is here in this body, I'm considered a starseed, as many other that have come here. We've all come here for a mission, and our missions are all different. So starseeds
What
have
is
missions.
yours? What is your mission?
My mission is to help humanity at this point in time. There has been a lot of warring, a lot of fighting, and we are actually in the middle of working with other high councils and galactic councils, bringing in negotiations to establish peace and
Good.
order at this time. So that's
Right.
really, really what we're doing. We don't want warring anymore. It's been too much.
Your mission echoes my mission because I have always felt that mine was to create an entertaining but peaceful path for humanity
Right.
and to comfort them because they have been through serious manipulations.
Yes, definitely.
And it's not their fault that they are so, shall we say, confused about
hmm
their own origin, because unless you really have some time to delve into who you really are, how would you ever know? How did you wake up? How did you become Asha instead of Kristy Mae?
Well, it's Aisha, but It's spelled that way. Um, my memories I had when I was a child, but I suppressed some of them at the
Mhm.
time because I didn't really have a whole lot of people to talk with at that time,
Right?
and just thought that they were my own things and my own concerns. As time went on and we got access to this internet thing that we all use, there's more contact. So I got contact with more people and we shared stories and started to recall memories together. And when
That's
you start to
amazing.
really interact and share those stories, you realize that, wow, you remember that too. So that did happen. We were there.
Well, exactly. There were things that I thought that were very out there, but now that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm. And now
In my
we're all on
in
this
my
path.
right, in my memory, I remember dancing in a maze to get into a certain citadel, and
Right.
I could never figure this out. And then I was like, well, if what I have been told is true, and I am ancient, I mean, not just Lyran, but ancient Lyran,
Right.
then yes, I would have been there, wouldn't I? I
Yep.
would remember those things.
Yes, definitely. And there's a
And I
lot of
thought
us that are.
I thought I was Pleiadian. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot, however, that the Lyrans seeded the Pleiades.
Yes, they
So
did.
it still fits.
Uh,
And
I had
you
I had
even knew the area that I was from by my last name. When Megan
right,
Scott did my reading and she
right.
said my last name, you knew where I was from.
I did. Yep.
How?
It's an energy signature that I picked up on. I just know. It's one of those things that you just know.
That's so cool. That is
Yeah,
so cool.
because in time and space, even though it's millions of years ago, it's still all happening all at the same time. We're still interdimensional and multidimensional,
I
and
think
we
a
are
lot of
part of yeah, we're part of
human,
creation. So all of us are little like creation seeds.
right? I think a lot of humanity forgets that time is not linear, that
Mm-mm.
lots of things are happening all at the same time.
That is correct. That is very correct.
Do you have any experience with Agartha?
I do actually. I call it the inner earth sanctum. But there is a lot going on down there. There is an inner sun down there, and it's very beautiful. It's made of a different type of plasma. It's a generator, but it's a different source of sun, what we call sun. It's very clean, it's very bright, it's very pure, and things grow differently down there. They grow really big and really healthy. Um, I I have been I'm going to try to explain a little bit about it. So I do know that underneath Mount Shasta, there are tunnel systems, and I have been down under there, not physically, but astrally, etherically.
Hmm.
Um, there is also rivers that go under there, and there's also actually part of it that has its own ocean. So the ocean comes in underneath down there. Now, the streams or rivers, as we call them, when you get down there, there's foxes, and these little foxes run around in the rivers. And they're not just any foxes, they're telepathic foxes. So what
I
they
love
do
it.
is they're amazing. They're cute little guys, and there's like five or six of them, and they run around, and they send telepathic messages to what we call the guardians. The guardians guard the entrances into Agartha and into inner earth, even though you're on the outskirts of it. You're still not entered completely into it yet. You don't just walk in there. So your soul, your energy frequency and your soul frequency has to be a certain frequency to enter in there.
Right?
Yeah. So when you do, for whatever reason you come there, and depending on what part you are to go, to work or to gather or to do things, you usually are invited, or you have family there, or you have, you know a council there, or and then you get invited to the guardian doorway, and the guardians will read you, and they will say you may enter or you may not enter at that point in time. And then if you do enter, you get to go in and go where you're going, to whatever area you want to go that you know how to get to, because you already know how to get to it.
What would qualify you for entrance?
You have to have an energy signature that others can identify with, so your frequency has to be raised to a certain level. You have to be able to hold that frequency. You have to be able to astral project as well, astral travel, because
Hmm.
that's the best way to get there.
Right?
They're in other dimensional fields, so higher fields, and it's usually when you're interacting with other species there, they're all resonating on these higher frequencies too. So that's the main thing. You have to hold a high frequency within your soul DNA.
How many do you think on the planet actually could do that with everything that's
Actually
going on?
actually now, quite a few, I think. I really have seen a rise or a raise in the frequencies and in
Really?
humanity, and there's a lot of humans here too that are hybrids, and they don't realize they are, and they're going, "Why is this happening to me? Why am I feeling this way?" But they don't really remember who they are yet. And so those hybrid humans are the ones that are really helping out by holding that frequency. And
What
so
are some of
we
the
are doing the
symptoms?
work.
What are some of the
Mhm.
symptoms that they might be going through that makes them, wonder what's going on?
Becoming more telepathic, hearing thoughts, hearing things, not 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 things, how do I say this? Elemental communications as well. So hearing the trees communicate, which they do, hearing the animals communicate, having more deja vus, having more aha moments, and just really connecting to their
Hmm.
higher self, I believe. So once you really start to connect to your higher self and you have these experiences, then you're on the right path for the ascension process, is what we're trying to do. We're trying to help raise the frequency of our own DNA, so that we can help the planet raise her frequency. And
Ex-
yeah, together, if we
That's
want to have a
beautiful.
good world, we have to work together, and we have to work with the planet.
I totally agree with you.
Hmm.
Can we talk about Malaqua for a minute?
Of course. What would you like to know?
You are a blade dancer of Malaqua.
I am. I taught blade dancing in a place called the Alabaster Temple.
Yeah.
And the Alabaster Temple was called also the Living Library. Now, we had what we called a hearthstone, and this stone downloaded a lot of star knowledge, star maps, a lot of the Lyran history and technology. And we were alchemists, and we worked with energy, frequency, light, sound, and color. So all of that was very it was kept in this hearthstone
Mm-hmm.
and in the living library. And so that became part of the Alabaster Temple. And we were the Katai are more of a warrior feline race, and I'll try to explain that to you a little bit here. Um, so in that aspect, I took and I taught blade dancing for tactics and techniques to help a lot of our Lyran folk, cat feline folk, have better agility during battle, because we were fighting a lot of the Draconian Empire and the Orion Syndicate and some of the reptilians. They're not all bad, but there was quite a few of them that were,
Mm-hmm.
and they destroyed a lot of planets, including our home planet, during the Orion Wars. And so we decided, a small group of us decided that we were going to go rogue, and we were going to become pretty much the guardians of the galaxy, and fight a lot of these beings because we didn't want to see planets being destroyed anymore, and people being killed. And that's what I'm talking about when I say the warring needs to end, because I've seen so much of it and I've been involved in so much of it that now we're moving into a different paradigm, and it's not go blade dancing anymore, even though I love to do that. Now is a different time. It's a time of negotiations, and it's a
Mhm.
time of, getting together with other races and species and having a respect and an honor towards each other to coexist in the same areas. And some of them have been asked to leave, not all of them, but there's different laws being set down and governed now. And a lot of this is still being delegated in council. So it's not complete yet. It's still being worked with many high councils right now. But going back to Malaqua, Malaqua was a beautiful, lush, vibrant, beautiful planet. It had kind of a red, magenta, purple skies at sunset. It had waterfalls. It had gardens. It had stone circles. It had mountains, beautiful mountains and dwellings and cliffs, and it had big pillars, crystal pillars. A lot of the Lyran beings work with crystal technology, so there's a lot of frequency being used. Everything was a lot of stuff was crystal.
Why was
And
the moon
alabaster,
green?
and alabaster. We called it the Alabaster Temple because it had alabaster. So
Why
the
why
the
was the
other,
moon green?
excuse me,
Why was the moon green?
the moon green. We had a blue moon. It was a bluish green color.
Yeah,
It wasn't completely green, but it was bluish green.
yeah.
I and we had three moons. There was three originally, two suns and three moons. So yes,
Wow.
I know. And they would all rise at different times.
I was going to say, were the days and nights different? Were they different in length?
Mm, yes, it depended on what kind of type of the year it was, really. But it was
Hmm.
not like it is here. They were longer days. Um, kind of like in Alaska where you have longer days and longer nights, but
Right.
they kind of connected to each other. It's not like one was 6 months and the other was 6 months. They were just long a day and a long night. And then that ran into another day and another night
Wow.
because of and if something eclipsed something else, like if we had a weird eclipse or something going on, we would have like a half day would be like half dark, and then it would go light, and then it would be like half dark, and then it would go light again. So it's really confusing.
How did you sleep? I
We're warriors. We didn't sleep.
was going to say,
No,
I somehow knew you were going to say that.
we crawled up under a waterfall and went to sleep for a while in the flowers, and and then woke up. But there was my father, and his name was Macaw. He was a white lion, white golden brown. He has like a golden brown fur, but he had parts of him that were white. And he was the admiral to the Holy House of Lyra, or what he called the House of Macaw. So they go by different house names.
Right.
And our house symbol actually was the symbol of the blue lotus flower. So that has
Boy,
been
if
carried
that's
down.
synchronous, you have been attracted to Blue Lotus for a while now, haven't you?
I have, and now yeah, and it's all coming together now. Why?
Isn't it
But
funny how things do come together?
hmm
You don't expect them to, and out of the blue, all of a sudden you're like, well, that's why,
yep. And you're like, you knew that, but you're like, why didn't I think of that? But
right?
that's why.
So, how many would you guesstimate? How many past lives do you think you've had?
Oh my. Well, I know I've had 6 incarnations in the Pleiades, because we came through the Pleiades to get here, and through also. That's a good question. I can't answer that honestly because I don't know for sure. And we've had a lot. I'm gonna say a lot. Um, Egypt was a whole nother incarnation time. and I was on Mu and Tara, which was a fifth dimensional Earth planet, when that was a whole nother incarnation. And then it's hard to say, really. There was many of them.
So Tara, Tara,
Tara, Tara,
Tara,
Tara was
right?
a
So
fifth. Was
Tara,
a fifth. Yep,
Tara,
was
Gaia, right?
Tara. Well, no, the first. All right, let me back up. The first Earth, as I knew it before it was called anything else, like just out in space. I knew Earth as being called Tetra 19. So Tetra 19 is how maybe how others where I was in those sectors of the galaxy, because I'm not from this galaxy, saw Earth as. And that was a
Okay,
long time ago, and that was before Tiamat. So then
okay,
there was Tiamat, yeah, and then that was had an issue. That was a huge, beautiful planet here. Um, Maldek was part of all that destruction. There was Terra, Terra,
right,
and that was another Earth, dimensional Earth. And then there was Tara, which is
right,
the fifth dimensional Earth. So when you fall down through density, you're going to fall down through the higher dimensional Earths. When you come up from the bottom to a higher frequency, you're going to leave these lower dimensional Earths. So
that's
it's the way of
fascinating.
seeing the frequencies. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And then Gaia is seventh dimension. So we see her now as a seventh dimensional Earth.
Are we ascending?
Slowly. Yes, we are. We are slowly. We've just actually started to ascend in the last couple of years. And I believe they'll accelerate it in 2024, and we're picking it up now in 2025 because we've had more disclosure happen between 2024 and 2025. This is where it's starting to pick up speed, and everybody needs to come out and come forward with their disclosure, because it's like we're all the children and we're sitting here and we want to share a story, and all of us need to share the stories so that we all get part of the story together, because we all want to know the truth, and we all want to know, what's going on.
Right?
How do we get here? How do we get out of here? How do we go home? What is home? All these
Where
questions.
is home?
Right,
Where is home, right? Do
right.
you know do you know anything about the orbs that were recently appearing?
Um, I don't know. I know a little bit about it, but I'm not classified to talk about them right now.
Ah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, because there's a lot more involved. I'm just going to say the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the some of the factions on the Earth are involved in those.
Right.
And so there's not been clearance yet to come forth and talk about really what's happening.
When it all comes down and everything's
Mhm.
cool again, will you come back
Mhm.
and talk about it?
I will, as soon as I
Okay.
get clearance. I have
Perfect.
respect, so I have to hold that.
I know I totally respect that you have things that you cannot talk about.
Yeah, yeah, I can't just come out and say certain things. So,
Could we talk some more about ancient races?
of course, what would you like to know?
Why are so many different ancient races here now?
Okay. Because again, it has to do with negotiations, and it has to do with treaties, and it has to do with working together. And there's a lot of races that don't want to work together, and they never did want to work together. They were very, you know, controlling and conquering races. So there's there's a lot changing right now in the multiverse, and a lot changing in the universe. So these races are now coming together, and I know the Lyran High Council, um, the Siren High Council, the Andromeda High Council, the Galactic Federation of Worlds, and some of the other councils, one from Epsilon Cygni. There's one
Mhm.
from actually Beltrix that is here involved, and there's one from Procyon. Some of the mantids insectoid beings from Procyon are here. And I heard that the some of the beings from the Sombrero galaxy are here as well.
Where is
And
that?
it's far away, very far away. It's
I've
very
never
far
heard of
away.
it.
So there's a place called the Pegasi Galaxy and the Andromeda Galaxy, and it's out on the outskirts. So there's a lot of beings that are being asked to come in and negotiate and delegate these, these new laws that are going to be governed here in this area. And it also has to do with the trade routes and opening stargates again for galactic travel. But humanity's not ready for that yet, but they're establishing certain laws and negotiations so that when the time comes, we will be able to join the galactic family. The Earth will be able to, and that's what the ascension is really about, getting the Earth and the people here ready to ascend and be part of this galactic family, because we're
I
really
agree.
not 100% ready for that yet. But the
No,
disclosure part and the Disclosure Act brings all of that, all of us doing this work together and interacting and telling our stories of our lives and our past. That's what we need to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Wow. Deep stuff here, lady.
There's a lot going on. And I think as it all happens, people are just gonna start waking up more, and they're just gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I knew that. Or how come I didn't remember that?" Because it's really all embedded in our DNA. We just have to turn our DNA on. We have to remember who we are.
There you go. Because
Mhm.
I believe, and I think you're right on the same path that I was on, that there are certain DNA markers that needed to be activated at a certain time, and
That's
they
correct.
weren't ready. We weren't ready yet.
Mm-mm. Nope. We're getting ready. We're ready.
Almost, but not quite.
Come on. Some of us are past ready. Some of us are, still needing some help, but that's why we're all
Agreed.
here.
Exactly. Well, it's time for us to have that little break I was telling you about. I
All
did
right.
have some trouble earlier, so I'm crossing my fingers that it will work just fine. But I will be back in about 4 minutes. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Welcome to Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, where magic meets the mundane and the extraordinary becomes everyday. Are you ready to gift yourself with the whispers of ancient power stones? To the feel and hear the echoes of our ancient past? Dive into a world where each pendant tells a story, where rare stones hold secrets known only to the universe itself. At Crystal Cove, our collection isn't just jewelry. It's a gateway to a realm of mysticism and wonder. Let the shimmering opal guide you through twilight dreams, or embrace the fiery energy of the sun with our exquisite amber pendants. Each piece, handcrafted by the hands of a true mystic who understand the language of the earth and the fire of one's heart. At Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, we believe that every soul deserves to sparkle. Whether you seek solace in the calming embrace of amethyst or wish to dance with the vibrant hues of turquoise, our collection holds the key to unlocking your inner magic if you allow it to be so. Visit us today and discover the pendant that speaks to your soul. Crystal Cove and Mystic Charms, where the beauty of our amazing earthy realm meets the magic of the cosmos.
Hey there, Hunter. Go check out our friends at Colorado Custom Game Calls. They are all about creating a high-quality, custom, unique game calls at an affordable price. They are here for hunters that can't and won't pay upwards of $180 to $200 per game call. They pride themselves on giving their customers the opportunity to not only purchase an affordable and high-quality call, but to customize their game call to their liking. So listen up and go check them out. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. They got calls for all type of game, and all the game calls can be custom made to your own likeness. That's www.coloradocustomgamecalls.com. Tell them Matthew sent you from the Matrix Minds.
What is
is up, all my beautiful and gorgeous souls? I am Michelle Espinosa, otherwise known as the Shaman, through the Matrix Mind Media. So tell me, how many times have you wished that you had that special power of prediction? You know, to know what was going to happen before it actually happened and took place. To have some power and control over that situation before things came flying at you out of left field. The thing is, you actually can have that power. You can be aware of what's coming. Tune in to Astrology TV with me for Breaking the Cage every Sunday evening at 10 p.m. Eastern on the Matrix Mind Media. And I will go through the astrology and help put you on the right course and get you back in control of your own life. Love you guys.
This CBD fluid is a whole flower fluid extracted from the cannabis flower. We don't use any heat, butane, or chemicals when we extract, so we get all of the components of the plant. All the CBD, CBG, CBA, all the terpenes, all the flavonoids. This allows our body to absorb at 60 to 90% rather than the average of 6 to 10% absorption you would get with a CBD oil. Because our bodies are made up of mostly water and this is a fluid, it's highly absorbable so that you're getting 500% more nutraceuticals per dose. We also have this available in our CBD spray as well as a muscle rub with all kinds of botanicals. You're going to absolutely love it.
Check it out, Brainiacs. MatrixMinds.live/CBD. CBD I use. Feel free again. Feel alive again.
And we are back. This is Just a Moment, and my guest today is Kristy, also known as Aisha. And we are talking about what it's like to be a starseed, where we came from, where our soul origin is, and also what it's like to be in this world right now and being different. Have you, and where are you on your journey?
Well, I'm happy with where I am right now because I really want to embrace humanity at this point in time. I really want to help humanity. I want to help humanity heal. I want to help humanity activate their DNA. I want to help humanity activate all of this on a cellular level and start to wake up to realize who they are. So I guess I'm happy with that. I'm happy being able to help people at this point in time.
That's beautiful. And thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.
You mentioned at one time that you knew the area. I think you called it the Hyades or Hyades?
The Hyades.
Hyades.
The
And
Hyades, yes.
and the people of Nor?
The Nor were also another feline race.
Okay.
The Hyades and the Hyades, they lived in the area. So there's quite a few feline races that people don't know about. There was the Nor, there was the La'ani and the Ta'al, which is where my hybrid Katai race came from.
Okay.
There's the Irma. There's also another race called the Ka'ashta. And the Ka'ashta are what we call the Ash people. They were the original fire cat people who lived on a very treacherous world that was a lot of molten lava and volcanic activity, had a lot of boron gas in the atmosphere. And they were violent, but they pretty much stayed to themselves. They didn't get involved in a lot of other stuff. They didn't go looking for trouble. They kind of like to be left alone, but they weren't like extremely bad or anything. That was their culture. That's the way they survived.
So what actually caused the fall of Malaqua?
Well, the Draconian Empire. Yep.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can. I'm writing a book about it. I'm writing a book called Eternally Starborn, and it'll be out later this year. It'll all be in my
Wonderful.
book. Huh?
Wonderful. Well, give us just a little preview. I'm not going to ask you to, like
Okay.
read the book or anything, but just
No,
just a little preview.
it does have the story of the Orion Wars and what happened to Malaqua during that time. It was set about 500 million years ago in the Lyra Vega star system with the feline race, my planet, the way it was destroyed. What happened during the day that it actually was destroyed. That's part of the story. I won't go on to tell you all the whole thing, but I will tell you it goes into Taygeta and it talks about a lot of the feline elders. There's a lot involved. I also am incorporating in my book a lot of I don't know if people are familiar with the void, but the void is where I remember everything stemming from. So
Can you go into that
it
more?
was like the womb of creation at that point.
Okay.
And it's where a lot transforms into light and color and sound and energy and frequency, and then it moves forward. So I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but there's a lot involved.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And where will we be able to find the book?
It'll be published next year. I hope to have being able to go to conferences as well, and I'm hoping that I get it on an audio book as well. So it'll be all listed on my website at eternallystarborn.com. So you'll be able to order it online and get a hard copy of it as well.
Wonderful. Well, I had no idea that you were writing a book about it, or I wouldn't have. But, hey, it's a plug,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yeah, I need to get some information out to people. It's the time.
Right.
We're all, I really honor a lot of people that are putting together books. I have quite a few friends that have written books. So it's the way to get that information out there and to make it real, to manifest it.
I
It
love
needs
it.
to get out there.
I love it. Earlier today, we had a little mix up with our scheduling. So earlier today, I was actually reading a book out loud called The Bringers of the Dawn, and that's a Pleiadian message. So
Oh,
it's all very synchronistic. I just love
mhm.
that. Um, you had said one time before, and I truly believe that it's possible, but do you think that you and I knew each other prior to this lifetime?
Yes, I'm sure we have. You being Lyran and being connected to the Pleiades and the Pleiades, they're called the Pleiades, and the Hyades star cluster. Yeah, we're definitely know each other. I'm sure.
Well, I felt an instant connection with you. We met on a different show, but
Mhm.
every time I was just like, who is that person? She looks so familiar to me. And then I
Yep,
got to know you a little better and I was like, well, that's why.
yep.
You know,
Our souls know each other from long time ago, and
and we are very sister-like in our energy, I would have to say.
yes, very much so, much so.
In fact, we call each other sis, right?
We do, we do. Hey, sis.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Well, I'm looking at my list of questions here. How do you want to be remembered?
Ah, I just want to be remembered for being the feline that I am, being the feline that came here to help humanity, really. And just that's what it's about right now. And you know, we're all here on this planet together. Oops, sorry about that.
I think you
We're all on
froze
this
for a
planet.
second.
We're all on this planet together, and we all have to leave our mark. And I think it's the good mark that you leave, the mark of love, the mark of something positive. So
Right?
that's the most important thing that we leave here.
I agree.
Right.
Because all we are in the end is memory, and I hope mine is a good one.
Yep, we are energy. Everything in the universe is energy, and we are energy, and our thoughts are energy, and what we create is created through energy. So if we can think something, do something, you know, put out something that is positive while we're here on this planet, then not only is it going to help our soul mission, it's going to help others' soul mission, but it's going to help the planet's mission. So I just feel that that's a really deep interconnectedness that all these souls really need to work on here while we're here. Being a better version of ourselves and learning how to really understand what divine love is. Not a selfish love, but a selfless love.
Right?
Yeah.
What would be the most important lesson you would have learned so far?
Mm. Well, okay, the most important lesson that I have learned so far is that I am who I'm exactly supposed to be. Like, people try to degrade you, they try to put you down, they try to keep you from believing who you are. And I think the most important thing is just to remember who you are. Because once you remember who you are, then you have full availability to do all the positive things that you want to. And you're not programmed. You're not falling under these programs or these manipulations. So you're loving yourself, setting yourself free, and connecting to your higher purpose puts you in a path of divineness and not constructed like a lower frequency path, but a
Mhm.
higher frequency. So we need to stay on that higher frequency.
Hold the higher frequency. I agree.
Definitely hold the higher frequency and hold the
Silly,
love within that space.
okay, silly question time.
Okay.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
If I had could have a superpower, what would it be? I want to fly.
How did I know
I
you
want
were
to
going to
fly.
say
I
that?
want to fly again. I want my wings back.
I do too. How many times have I said that I want my
I
wings back?
know. I want my wings back.
And there were, as I understand it, there were winged felines. Am I
There
correct?
are winged felines. The original felines that were winged were we called them the elders because they were our elders. But they were called the Ishanue, and they were white-winged lions, and they lived on a planet called Isaria. And Isaria not only had winged lions, but had other winged creatures. There were some Pegasi and hybrid winged creatures as well.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah, it was a very beautiful place.
If I were to say Sheare, is that something that you would know? Sheare?
Sheare,
Yeah.
Sheare,
hmm
Sheare.
it's like there's more
Sounds,
to it.
yeah, there
Me,
is. Go ahead.
me ana Sheare. I've always wondered what that is. Is it the name of the people? Is it the name of the place?
I got the translation. I am the goddess of wisdom.
Ooh, I like that.
That's just what came through when I heard that.
Oh, that's wonderful. You had a confirmation. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Go ahead. Who did you
What?
find out you were?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
Let's
in
go for
Egypt,
it.
you mean? In Egypt, right?
Yes, in Egypt, because a lot of us have an ancient Egypt tie that we don't quite understand. And then all of a sudden, we do. And that's kind of what happened with you, wasn't it?
Right. I had felt an Egyptian tie a long time ago. Um, I had believed who I was a long time ago, but then as I started to talk to other people about it, I would say back in 2016, 2017, even before that, even back in 87 when I felt a connection, they would all tell me, "Oh, well, how could that be?" Or, you're you have any proof of that? Or, how do you know? So I kind of let it go, and I didn't really think much about it. But deep down in my soul, I still felt this connection and wanted to know more about it. And let's just say that I did get some confirmation on the issue. So yeah, and that it makes sense, and I'll tell you, but it makes sense because being Lyran and being who I am, and then knowing about the transporter that was underneath the Giza Plateau, that actually there was a transporter that was working back then. And we were able to go to Cirrus B because there was a transporter in Cirrus B too. And that's how we got into Cirrus B from there back and forth from Egypt.
Very
Now,
cool.
in Cirrus B, there were these canines that we knew that were called the Temple Guardians, and they were
Hmm.
the Temple Guardians of some of the temples in Cirrus B. And I was friends with them. I actually interacted with them quite a bit. So yes, felines and canines get along.
They can.
We actually do.
A friend of mine that actually was the one that I told you told me my last name.
Hmm.
She told me that my husband came from there. So
Oh wow,
cats and dogs do get along.
we do get along. We do get along. Um, yeah. So I was Sekhmet. I'm still Sekhmet. My soul carries a shard of her. So I am a healer and a destroyer, but I choose not to destroy anymore. I choose to heal. And this is part of my healing capabilities and my healing abilities here. Now, the strange thing about this is that my was married to Ptah, who was a healer in Egypt, and our son that we have had at the time, Nefertum, he was the blue lotus, so he carried the blue lotus energy with him. It was actually a water lily. It was like the blue water lily, but it's a blue lotus, a lotus flower. Because
Beautiful.
the blue lotus flower it was used in Egypt and honored and respected, and they also did use it and drink it and adorn with it as well.
Right?
Yeah, but now I was also, because I was a feline that was brought in from another universe and came here, I was also um, imprisoned in Egypt. So they imprisoned me. So yeah.
How would they imprison you?
Oh, there's ways. There's lots of magic. There's lots of alchemy. There's lots of
Because
very
I was going to
strong.
say, you are stronger than the
Yes,
average human.
well, yes, but you're talking about other gods too, and they all had their day, they all had their time, so it's just, yeah, a lot happened, a lot went down in Egypt. I don't hate Egypt for it. I don't hate any of the races for it. I'm past that, that's all in the past. So
Same.
no matter what happened at that point in time, I'm now ready to move forward and to work on an intergalactic level with
Perfect.
not only healing others, but healing the planet, and even working with some of the people that did me wrong. I want to heal them too.
That's
So
beautiful. And
yeah.
that kind of forgiveness and compassion
Mhm.
will heal those rifts, I guess you would call them. It's not quite a generational curse or a curse, but it's a
Right.
rift.
Right.
And that compassion and that love and that light, really, I think that's the only way to heal it.
Right. It's an energy that either the love energy, the divine energy, and that love energy is something we all need to learn to master. And none of
Mhm.
us have mastered it. That's why we're still here.
Right?
But if we have it ignited within our heart and in our soul, we can use it as a guide to keep us focused on what we need to do and where we need to go with it. So that's what guides me, in a sense, that spark of creation. Again, it's all in my book. So It'll all be in my book about the spark, the eternal
Oh, that's so
spark of
exciting, though, that
creation.
we get
Mhm.
a little glimpse of, the near future. Do you have actual guides?
My guides are my Lyran family. So I work directly with the House of Lyra, the Holy House of Lyra, and the House of Macaw. Macaw has a mate. She's a little lioness, and her name is Miyu. And little Miyu and I work together as well. And for those, I work with them to do healings on people. And we do that through the inner earth sanctum, because that's where all the healings are done now, in a place down there called the garden. So the
Oh, I got
Lyrans
the
we
chills.
all work together down there, and
I
there's
literally got goosebumps. Go ahead.
there's plasma vats down there that we do healing with. They have little med beds, like crystal tech med beds, that are down there. They'll put devices on you that help regulate your vitals or scan you, or help to boost up your DNA, or to remove an implant or something. It's just they and I work together on this. And so I never know really what's going to happen when I bring somebody in there, because we all evaluate that person, and then that person will be taken by some of the other Lyrans to a certain area, and for their benefit, and then the healing process starts. And
Beautiful.
they can keep you up to 14 days in a plasma vat if your DNA needs repaired, or if you're on a cellular level, they're working on it, or they're bringing in some kind of technology to heal maybe a tumor or a scar or a bone, or anything that's wrong that you might have had in the past.
Unbelievable. I mean, I wish we had this kind of technology now above.
Yeah, me too. I
I
mean,
really do.
we kind of do. I mean, we are working on getting med beds. I know they're not accessible to the public completely at this time. I'm hoping they will be released here to the public in the next few years. But I do want to emphasize as well, first, before I say anything, um, I'm not a medical doctor. So all the advice that I give people, it is from a higher dimensional frequency and a higher dimensional field, and my star family. So just so everybody knows that. The other thing too is that I've partnered with a very amazing company called LifeWave. And I didn't know what it was all about at first, but I have a very special Lyran cousin that introduced me to LifeWave, um, and she is amazing. And this particular patch that LifeWave has put out for people through their amazing company has the ability to activate your stem cells and your phototherapy in your own body by using copper peptides. So the frequency actually helps activate your own body to heal itself. And
Wow.
I have been patching. I have 2 patches on right now, and I have been patching since February of last year. And my stamina has increased. My mental capacity has increased. My pain level has gone down. Everything has helped me. These patches are truly amazing. And they are just a tiny,
Wow.
tiny, tiny little bit of what stem cell therapy and phototherapy can do for humans and for our DNA, correcting our DNA and rebuilding our muscle and I have a link. So if people are interested, they can reach me at my link, and I would be more than happy to help them. I do believe that through physical activation of DNA and through astral etheric level of DNA activation, that the body can heal on both um, mental and spiritual and physical levels all at once. And I think that is what people need. They need the balance.
Wonderful. Truly. I mean, that gives so many people hope to know that that could be in the future.
There is a lot coming in the future. a lot from a lot of different companies, and these companies have been patented. They've done studies. I just there's so much that we don't even know that hasn't even touched the surface yet. And so those are the amazing abilities with sound frequency, light frequency. There's plasma frequencies that are going to be hitting everywhere too, using plasma. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming. But our job, again, keep our frequency up, keep our vibration up, keep our love frequency up, and to heal each other and ourselves and our environment. And that's my mission. That's my goal, is to do that.
Perfect. Is there a message that you would like to give the audience?
I would just like people to know that they are part of creation, that they are creators, and that they can create their own reality by manifesting not only their thoughts, but their words and their actions. And whatever they do is what they create. So I just want to say that we are love. We came here to be love. So we just all need to hold that frequency.
Right. Because it is so easy to get stuck in the anger and despair and
Hmm.
bitterness and the illness and the grief and the
Yes,
loneliness and all of
yes.
those negative emotions. And yet somehow we cannot stay there. We have to rise
Hmm.
above that. Do you
We
agree?
need to rise above it 100%. I will say one thing, because I'm a fan of dragons. And I want people to know that dragons are not all bad. Yeah, there's good and bad in
I love
everything, but most
dragons.
of the dragons that are working with us are positive.
Hmm.
And if you call upon your celestial dragon, they will help you. So I'm not going to I say that that's a good thing to do. And there are a lot of really good dragons out there that are here on a mission right now to help Earth ascend as well. And they are one of the first creatures that go back to the eternal first creation. Before
Hmm.
there was any human being on any planet in any multiverse or anywhere, there was a dragon. So honor
I
your
see.
dragons and respect them and ask them for guidance and ask them for help, because they're here and they're ready to help.
Exactly. And I see them in clouds. I see them in pictures. I see
Hmm.
them everywhere.
They are everywhere.
Well, my goodness, we are actually at the top of the hour. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience?
um I'm not sure. Just come join us again. We'll do this again sometime.
Oh, I would love that. I was hoping you'd say that. So have enjoyed this interview, and thank you so much, Kristy. You are truly amazing.
Thank you, Kristen. It's a pleasure being here with you.
Well, thank you. Well, that's all for now, dear lights. Thank you so much for joining us. Never forget that you are amazing. You are loved. Be well, be
Mhm.
safe out there, and we'll see you on the next show. Bye.
Bye.